Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Bill Chan.
I'm Nimacum.
I'm Van Chan.
In this class, I'll read all of you a part of Ulysses,
Bess,
L.
Ulysses, James Joyce. Chap 17 Sec 1. What parallel courses did Bloom and Stephen follow returning? Starting united both at normal walking pace from Beresford Place, they followed in the order named Laura in Middle Gardiner Streets and Mantua Square. Asked then, at reduced pace, each bearing left Gardiner's Place by an inadvertence as far as the farther corner of Temple Street, then at reduced pace with interruptions of halts, bearing right, Temple Street, off, as far as Hardwick Place, approaching the Spurt. At relaxed walking pace, they crossed both the cirques before George's Church diametrically, the chord in any circle being less than the arc which it subtends. Of what did the Jomfrey deliberate during their itinerary? Music, literature, Ireland, Dublin, art, friendship, woman, prostitution, date, the influence of gaslight or the light of arc and glow lamps on the growth of adjoining parheliotropic trees, exposed corporation emergency disc buckets, the Roman Catholic Church, ecclesiastical celibacy, the Irish nation, Jesuit education, careers, the study of medicine, the past day, the maleficent influence of the Prisabath, Stephen's collapse. Did Bloom discover common factors of similarity between their respective like and unlike reactions to experience? Both were sensitive to artistic impressions, musical imperfects to plastic or pictorial. Both preferred a continental to an insular manner of life, a cisatlantic to transatlantic place of residence. Both indurated by early domestic training and an inherited tenacity of heterodox resistance professed there. This belief in many orthodox religious, national, social and ethical doctrines. Both admitted the alternately stimulating and upturning influence of heterosexual magnetism. Were their views on some points divergent? Stephen dissented openly from Bloom's views on the importance of dietary and civic self-help, while Bloom dissented tacitly from Stephen's views on the eternal affirmation of the spirit of man. In literature, Bloom assent covertly to Stephen's rectification of the anachronism involved in assigning the date of the conversion of the Irish nation to Christianity from Druidism by Patrick, son of Copenhagen, son of Boditz, son of Odysseus, sent by Pope Celestini in the year 432 in the reign of Lirita, the year 260 or thereabouts in the reign of Cormac Macar 266 AD, suffocated by imperfect deglutition of element as city and interred at Risnori. The collapse which Bloom ascribed to gastric inanition and certain chemical compounds of varying degrees of adulteration and alcoholic strength, accelerated by mental exertion and the velocity of rapid circular motion in a relaxing atmosphere. Stephen attributed to the reapparition of a matutinal cloud perceived by both from two different points of observations in the cove in Dublin, at first no bigger than a woman's hand, Was there one point on which their views were equal and negative? The influence of gaslight or electric light on the growth of adjoining parallelotropic trees. Had Bloom discussed similar subjects during nocturnal perambulations in the past? In 1884, with Owen Goldberg and Cecil Turnbull at night on public thoroughfares between Onwood Avenue and Linners Corner and Saint Street and Bloomfield Avenue. In 1885, with Persephone in the evenings, reclined against the wall between Gibraltar Villa and Bloomfield House in Cumlin. Barney of Upper Curse. In 1886, occasionally with casual acquaintances and prospective purchasers on doorsteps, in front parlours, in third-class railway carriages of suburban lines. In 1880, frequently with Major Brian Tweedy and his daughter Miss Marion Tweedy, together and separately on the lounge in Matthew Dillon's house in Round Town. Once in 1892 and once in 1893 with Judith Judomastinsky. On both occasions in the parlour of his Bloom's house in Lombard Street. At What reflection concerning the irregular sequence of dates 1884, 1885, 1886, 1888, 1892, 1893. 1904 did Bloom make before their arrival at their destination? He reflected that the progressive extension of the field of individual development and experience was regressively accompanied by a restriction of the converse domain of inter-individual relations. As in what ways? From mine existence to existence he came to many, and was as one received existence with. The existence he was within he, as in he within he, from existence to non-existence gong he, would be by all as unperceived. What act did Bloom make on their arrival at their destination? At the house at steps of the fourth, if they could have found uneven numbers. Number 7 Eccles Street. He inserted his hand mechanically into the back pocket of his trousers to obtain his tree. Was it there? It was in the corresponding pocket of the trousers which he had worn on that tape up one preceding. Why was he doubly irritated? Because he had forgotten, and because he remembered that he had reminded himself twice not to forget. What were then the alternatives before the premeditatedly, respectively, and inadvertently killis couple? To enter or not to enter? To mock or not to mock? Bloom's decision? A stratagem. Resting his feet on the dwarf wall, he climbed over the area railings, compressed his hat on his eyes, grasped 2 points at the lower union of rails and stiles, lowered his body gradually by its length of 5 feet 9 inches and a half, to within 2 feet 10 inches of the area pavement, and allowed his body to move freely in space by separating himself from the railings and crouching in preparation for the impact of the fall. Did he fall? By his body's known weight of 11 stone and 4 pounds in over de poids measure, as certified by the graduated machine for periodical self-weighing in the premises of Francis Frodman, pharmaceutical chemist of 19 Frederick Street. On the last feast of the Ascension, to wit, the 12th day of May of the Bissextile year 1904, of the Christian era Jewish year 5664, Mohammedan era 1324, Golden number 5, Eparch 13, Solar Sacco 9, Dominical letters CB, Roman indiction 2, Chilean period 6617, and CMIV. Did he rise uninjured by concussion? Regaining new stable equilibrium, he rose uninjured though concussed by the impact. Raised the latch of the area door by the exertion of force at its freely. Moving flangent by leverage of the first kind applied at its fulcrum. Gained retarded access to the kitchen through the subadjacent scullery. Ignited a lucifer match by friction. Set free inflammable coal gas by turning on the vent cock. Lit a high flame which, by regulating, he reduced to quintessence and lit finally a portable candle. What discrete succession of images did Stephen meanwhile perceive? Reclined against the area railings, he perceived through the transparent kitchen panes a man regulating. A gas flame of 14 cp. A man lighting a candle of 1 cp. A man removing in turn each of his 2 boots. A man leaving the kitchen holding a candle. Did the man reappear elsewhere? After a lapse of 4 minutes, the glimmer of his candle was discernible through the semicircular glass fanlight over the hall door. The hall door turned gradually on its hinges. In the open space of the doorway, the man reappeared without his hat, with his candle. Did Stephen obey his sign? Yes. Entering softly, he upped close and chained the door and followed Sophia on the hallway there. Man's back and listed feet and lighted candle past the lighted crevice of doorway on. They left and carefully down a turning staircase of more than 5 steps into the kitchen of Bloom's house. What did Bloom do? He extinguished the candle by a sharp expiration of breath upon its flame. 3 spoonsy deal chairs to the hearthstone. 1 for Stephen with its back to the area window. The other for himself when necessary. Not on one knee. Composed in the great pyre of cross-laid resinted sticks and various coloured papers and irregular polygons of best Abraham coal at 21 shillings a ton from the yard of Mess Foreign McDonald of 14 Dollier Street. Kindled it at 3 projecting points of paper with 1 ignited lucifer match, thereby releasing the potential energy contained in the fuel by allowing its carbon and hydrogen elements to enter into free union with the oxygen of the air. Of what similar operations did Stephen think? Of others elsewhere in other towns too. Kneeling on one knee warned to, had kindled fires for him. Of Brother Michael in the infirmary of the College of the Society of Jesus at Congo's Wood. Talons in the county of Kildare of his father. Simon Didlus in an unfurnished room of his first residence in Dublin. Number 13 Fitzgibbon Street of his godmother Miss Kate Morgan in the house of her dying sister Miss Julia Morgan at 15 Usher's Island of his Aunt Sarah, wife of Richie Richard Gooding, in the kitchen of their lodgings at 62 Clonbrassil Street of his mother Mary, wife of Simon Didlus, in the kitchen of number 12 North Richmond Street on the morning of the feast of St. Francis Xavier 1898 of the Dean of Studies, Fatherhood, in the Physics Theatre of University College, 16 Stephen's Green, north of his sister Delia in his father's house in Carver. What did Stephen see on raising his gaze to the height of a yard from? The fire towards the opposite wall. Under a row of 5 cold spring house balls, a coverlin or a rope, stretched between 2 holdfasts athwart across the recess beside the chimney pier, from which hung 4 small-sized square handkerchiefs folded and attached consecutively in adjacent rectangles amorn. Pair of ladies' grey hose with lisle suspender tops and feet in their habitual position, clamped by 3 erect wooden pegs steered their outer extremities and the third at their point of junction. What did Bloom see on the range? On the right, smaller hob of blue enamelled saucepan, on the left, larger hob a black iron kettle. What did Bloom do at the range? He removed the saucepan to the left hob. Rosen carried the iron kettle to the sink in order to tap the current by turning the faucet to let it flow. Did it flow? Yes. From Randwood Reservoir in County Wicklow of a cubic capacity of 2,400 million gallons, percolating through a subterranean aqueduct to fill domains of single and double pipage constructed at an initial plant cost of 5 per linear by way of the Dargle. Afton. The length of the Downs and Kilohill to the 26-acre reservoir is Stilligan, a distance of 22 statute miles, and thence through a system of relieving tanks by a gradient of 250 feet to the city boundary at East Acebridge, Upper Leeson Street. Though from Pong, some draft and daily supply of 12 million gallons the water had fallen below the sill of the overflow, were for which reason the borough surveyor and waterworks engineer, Mr. Spencer Harty, T. A. On the instructions of the Waterworks Committee, had prohibited the use of municipal water for purposes other than those of consumption, envisaging the possibility of recourse being had to the imputable water of the ground and royal canals, as in 1893, particularly as the South Dublin Guardians, notwithstanding their ration of 15 gallons per day per pauper supplied through a 6-inch metet, had been convicted of a wastage of 20 gallons per night by a reading of their meter on the affirmation of the agent of the corporation, Mr. Ignatius Rice, solicitor, thereby acting to the detriment of another section of the public, self-supporting taxpayers, solvent, tund. What in water did Bloom? Whittle over, drawer of water, wait a courier, returning to the range, admire its universality, its democratic equality and constancy to its nature in seeking its own level, its vastness in the ocean of Mercator's projection, its ample profundity in the Centum Trench of the Pacific exceeding 8,000 fathoms, the restlessness of its waves and surface particles visiting in turn all points of its seaboard, the independence of its units, the variability of states of sea, its hydrostatic crescents in calm, its hydrokinetic turgidity in neap and spring tides, its subsidence after devastation, its sterility in the circumpolar scaps, Arctic and Antarctic, its climatic and commercial significance, its preponderance of 3 to 1 over the dry land of the globe, its indisputable hegemony extending in square leagues over all the region below the subequatorial Tropic of Capricorn, the multiscalar stability of its primeval basin, its littoral vast bed, its capacity to dissolve and hold in solution all soluble substances, including millions of tons of the most precious metals, its slow erosions of peninsulas and islands, its persistent formation of homothetic islands, Peninsulas and downward tending promontories, its alluvial deposits, its weight and volume and density, its imperturbability. In lagoons and highland tarns, its gradation of colours in the torrid and temperate end. Frigid zones, its vehicular ramifications in continental lac contain streams and confluent and flowing rivers with their tributaries and transoceanic currents. Gulf Stream. North and south equatorial courses, its violence and sequoics. Waterspouts. Artesian wells. Eruptions. Trends. Eddies. Frehes. Spades. Ground swells. Watersheds. Water partings. Phases. Cataracts. Whirlpools. Mustrums. Inundations. Deluges. Cloudbursts, its vast circumterrestrial horizontal curve, its secrecy in springs and latent humidity. Revealed by our abdomintic or hygrometric instruments and exemplified by the wall by the hole in. The wall at Ashtown Gate. Saturation of air. Distillation of dew, the simplicity of its composition. 2 constituent parts of hydrogen with 1 constituent part of oxygen, its healing virtues, its buoyancy in the waters of the Dead Sea, its persevering penetrativeness in runnels. Alleys. Inadequate dams. Lakes on shipboard, its properties for cleansing. Quenching thirst and fire. Nourishing vegetation, its infallibility as paradigm and progon, its metamorphose as vapor. Vest. Thud. Ein. Sleet. Sle. Hail, its strength in rigid hydrants, its variety of forms in lofts and basins. Gulfs and bights and guts and lagoons and atolls and archipelagos and sounds and fjords. And minches and tidal estuaries and arms of sea, its solidity in glaciers. Icebergs. Isoflows, its docility in working hydraulic mull wheels. Turbines. Dynamos. Electric power stations. Gleeworks. Tanneries. Sketch mulls, its utility in canals. Rivers. If navigable. Floating and grieving docks, its potentiality derivable from harness tides or watercresses filling from level to level, the submarine fauna and flora in acoustic. Fabophobe. Numerically, if not literally. The inhabitants of the globe, its ubiquity as constituting 90 of the human body. The noxiousness of its effluvia and lacustrine marshes. Pestilential fens. Faded far water. Stagnant pools in the waning moon. Having set the half-filled kettle on the now burning coals. Why did he return to the still-flowing tap? To wash his soiled hands with a partially consumed tablet of Barrington's Summon Flavored soap, to which paper still adhered. But 13 hours previously for fourpence and still unpaid for. In fresh cold, never changing ever, changing water and dry them. Face and hands. In a long red-bordered Holland coast pass to a wooden revolving ruler. What reason did Stephen give for declining blooms afore? That he was hydrophobe. Hating partial contact by immersion or total by submersion in cold water. His last bath having taken place in the month of October of the preceding year. Disliking the aqueous substances of glass and crystal. Distrusting aquosities of thought and language. What impeded Bloom from giving Stephen counsels of hygiene and prophylactic to which should be? Added suggestions concerning a preliminary wetting of the head and contraction of the muscles with rapid splashing of the face and neck and thoracic and epigastric region in case of sea or river bathing. The parts of the human anatomy most sensitive to cold being the nape. stomach and tenor or sole of foot. The incompatibility of aquosity with the erratic originality of genius. What additional didactic counsels did he similarly repress? Dietary concerning the respective percentage of protein and caloric energy in bacon. Saltling and butter. The absence of the former in the last limbed and abundance of the latter in the first limbed, which seemed to the host to be the predominant qualities of his guest. To be continued.